Welcome to the walkthrough on your Sunseeker. First things first, you got plenty of storage in the back, as well as access to it right here. A little thing to hold it open. You have access to a pump to do any winterization. You even have a winterization line here. So you'd unscrew this, stick that in your gallon of antifreeze, turn that to winterize, which is on right now. Turn the pump on, and instead of pulling from your tank, it's going to pull from your gallon of antifreeze. When you're ready to drain your fresh tank, there's your drain right now. So this would be closed, ready to fill, and that would be draining. Moving along. Fill for your fresh tank. Stick your hose in there. Don't shove it in there, just rest it in there. Turn it on and start filling the tank. You can read its progress from the monitoring panel, and if you start seeing it come out here, you know you're full. Outdoor shower. Just pull this out. Pull it out. This hooks to here. It's a quick disconnect, like an air hose. And as soon as you hook it in, it should be good to spray. You just turn it on by twisting it. By twisting the end. And then pull that back to release. And then you just shove it back in there when you are done. See the water hookup? That's where you're going to hook your hose up for when you're ready to use. 90% of the time, if you're going camping, that's what you're going to be using. If you're dry camping, you would fill your fresh tank. Shore cord, 30 amp shore cord. It's your shore cord, and you can tell it's quite long, about 35 feet. Next to that, hook up for cable. So if somewhere provides cable, you can hook it up through here. Then black tank flush. So as you're draining your black tank, you can hook a hose up to there, and there's a nozzle in there that'll spray it out. Speaking of black tank, that's your sewer drainage. So that one right there is going to be a black tank. That one's going to be a gray tank. That's where you're going to hook your hose up to. There's even a cap up there, so you can cap it off. And a cap here. This is where you run your snake your hose up through here and hook it to there if you were set up permanently to keep it nice and neat. I always recommend people draining your black first, then your gray. That'll flush it out, and then you have a spot to store your hose right in there. Access to propane. Even nice and labeled, and you can tell why it's the only compartment door that doesn't lock. Right there, and then you turn it on or off from there. Moving along. More compartments. With plenty of more storage. You have outdoor outlets, GFCI protected, and a 12-volt outlet, and then a cable outlet if you want to have a TV outside. Furnace, the only thing you guys will have to do, make sure it stays clean in there. Spider webs, bees nests, mud daubers, just clean it out if you see anything like that. Similar for the fridge, that's your intake for your fridge. Your exhaust is on the roof. This is for airflow. Just keep this clean so your fridge can get nice and good airflow. And then up there is your vent for your range hood. So if you're out cooking with your range hood, make sure you pop it open so it has somewhere to vent out to. And when you're traveling, clip it in place. That way it's not flopping around. Water heater. The only thing you folks will have to do with your water heater to get it ready is to put your drain plug in. It's 15/16 socket. They even sell a tool for it. I like using a socket because it's a little bit easier. You just screw it into here. It is nylon, so get it as much started as you can by hand. Once it's in, run water through it until you see clear water, because this has been winterized, and then you can take this out of bypass. I recommend draining it after every trip, because water that sits tends to get stagnant. So to drain it, pop your pressure relief until you stop seeing water come out. It's fine, everything out here is okay to get wet. Snap it closed once it's done, then you can pull your plug out. If you neglect to do that first, you're gonna get a hot bath. Other than that, keep everything in here clean, clean in there, and then you'll notice if you haven't cleaned it in a while, you'll start getting soot here and here. And if it gets worse, if it gets big enough flame, it'll hit this, and your water heater won't work until that is replaced. Exterior access to your generator, so you can pop that cover off if you need to check the oil or do any maintenance to it. And then onto the back side, it's the other side of that storage, and you also have access from the back too. It's nice, it's plastic. They all got these plugs, so if you wanted to clean them just by spraying them down, makes it super simple to do. Moving on along to the inside, you do have a table in here. You can take that off by unscrewing that, and it just pops off. That's what I unscrewed there. And in this leg, you can just wiggle free. Coming into the cab, we'll get a little bit more information about the cab. Your radio, super simple to use. Hit tuner. You bring up your radio stations. Hit seek, it'll seek the nearest channel it can find. Turn the volume down a little bit. Get presets here. You just push and hold to save your preset. Hit home again. Your Bluetooth audio. You can Bluetooth your phone to it. You'd look for Sony or Mercedes chassis, one or the other. You can listen to your own music. You do phone, so if your phone is Bluetooth to this, you can make calls hands-free, which is nice. Then rear camera, you can turn that on. Needs to be running for the camera to be working. Get the rear camera so you can have it set so it's always on, so you can see if people are tailgating you. It also turns on when you switch it into reverse. Right here. Climate controls, this one adjusts your temperature. This one, your fan speed. And then you have fan speed here. Oh, my bad. This one is your mode, so defrost. This one's your fan speed. Hot, lower, higher. This is for circulating air. That turns on the AC. Then you have your hazards here. Then over there, lights controls, pretty simple. This is ultra low sulfur diesel fuel only. So fill it with diesel. And you fill it by opening your driver's door. And it fills right here. And since it is diesel, it does get diesel exhaust fluid. And you access that from up front. Right there. We'll come on back here. Then your dash will give you some information when you're driving. Right there. So your miles and how many miles per hour you're going. Pull the keys out for now. We'll come on back to down here. You got some controls here. Battery disconnect. So we have it closed up and you forgot a light or two, you don't want to have to open up again, you can just disconnect the battery. Shuts all the lights off. However, your dashboard radio will not work when the battery's been disconnected. Got some switches here. This first one right here does that little porch light up there. Second one does awning LED lights. Third one opens it, turns on and off the steps. Jack controls right here. The jacks will only work when the engine is running. And when the engine is running and the jacks are operating, this is a buzzer. It will buzz the whole time you're operating. Just go until the jacks are snug down. Don't try to lift the rear end with them. So you have driver's side, passenger side. Once the jacks are snug, you can shut the engine off and the beeping will stop. The engine also needs to be running to operate your slide outs. This right here is your control for your awnings. So up is to extend. The awning will go out. Unfortunately, we can't go all the way out due to that wall being there. We're out as far as we can. Come over here. Both sides you can adjust. Grab this large part and pull down. It'll adjust, so if it's raining, you can have water pitch off to one end. However, if it's storming, roll your awning up, and if you roll it in wet, as soon as it gets sunny out, roll it back out to let it dry. Moving along, you have your radio. So this is the radio for the people in the back. Turn it up. Different modes, you can do AM, FM, Bluetooth. You sync your phone, you look for Jensen. You have settings, you can mess with your audio settings, presets, scan through your presets. And then this will do more different modes. Hitting pair will allow you to pair your Bluetooth device to this. We'll go back to radio. You have zones. So zone A. Let's go back to the So if you turn it up, it's going to turn up zone A. You can turn zone A all the way down. Zone B is outside, so you can raise the temperature outside. Volume. Lower it, so you can turn volume all the way out on the outside and have it. Ignore zone C, this one does not have a zone C. Then you can just listen to music on inside and not bother anyone outside, or vice versa. You go back with that. This is a DVD player too. So you can pop a DVD there and then watch whatever you choose to watch on your TV. This is going loose right here. And you can swivel your TV out, both top and bottom. Then you can change what angle it's at to watch. Up there. Coax. Pass through if you have a cable box or something, and then HDMI. So if you have a separate console or Blu-ray player, you can put it up in there, and that passes through into the TV. And then as well as outlets up there too as well. You have a fire extinguisher and a smoke alarm. Your smoke alarm runs off of 9-volt batteries. It'll do the low voltage chirps when it's time to replace the battery. Both your smoke alarm and your fire extinguisher have a 10-year lifespan, so in 10 years it's time to replace them both, whether you use them or not. This is your remote for your TVs. So this will be the remote for this TV. Turn it on, all that. And I will put your remotes in here, right above the door, as to not lose them. And then in there also you have, this is where your TV is hooked up for antenna. If you could see it, there's a little green light there and a button there. If that's off, you're running off of cable. If that's on, that's your booster for your antenna, and that allows your antenna to get a signal. This is the table, so over there, we'll move it aside. This does turn into a bed. All you do is flip this little switch latch here, and it'll allow this whole thing to lower. Now obviously you would move the cushions out of the way, lower this, organize the back two cushions on top of the table to create a nice sleeping surface. And then when you're ready to use the table, don't forget to latch it. Back right in there, nice and solid again. Plenty of storage underneath both seats. No need to tear everything apart. Can get in there from there. And then these are cushions for your driver's seats and passengers. Each of them gets one because these seats do swivel. So you use this latch to swivel your seats, and that'll allow you to sit higher so you can rest your legs comfortably on the linoleum floor if the chairs are rotated backwards. Another GFCI protected outlet, and I'll show you where the reset button is in a moment. And then below that is a propane, carbon monoxide and propane gas alarm. that is hardwired to the 12-volt system, so there's no need to worry about batteries being changed. Furrion stovetop, just a stovetop. You do have a light for it there. Click it to turn it on. Then you just turn these to whatever. Light it. The gas is not on. We have left it off, but as simple as that. And then this nice folding glass top acts as a black splash. Then your microwave above that is convection. So you can use it as a microwave, or you can use it as a convection. And this only works when you're plugged in or if you're running off of your generator. Fridge, you have a couple different modes. Your first modes, you have auto and off, obviously, and then you have auto or gas. So if this is out like that, you're on gas. Recommend leaving on auto. Auto is going to default to 110. If you were to ever lose power, it'll switch to running off of propane for you folks. Then you do have an inline filter. Not for the fridge, but for your water system. Now your fridge does take about 10 to 12 hours to get to operating temperature, so if you can, plug it in the night before. Controls for everything, so you can read propane levels, battery, fresh, black, and gray, and they read here. Then you have your generator start and stop, so you can hold it down. It's going to prime it. Once that light comes on, hold it up, and it'll start. The generator does run off of propane, and we have the propane off, so it will not start right now, but it's super simple to start. And then you have controls for your water heater, electric and gas. You can run both at the same time. It's not going to hurt anything. Just make sure when you are running electric that there is water in the water heater, or else you will burn out your heating element. Controls for your water pump. Kick that on if you're pulling from your fresh tank, and it'll allow you to run water from your onboard tank. Arctic pack, there are heating pads underneath your tank, your black and gray tanks, that allow you, if you're camping in the winter, to keep it from freezing. Then you have lights, living room, kitchen. The rest of the lights you have to turn off at the fixtures themselves, and there's just a little button in the middle to turn them on or off. And you control for your slide out. So this in or out will be that slide. This one will be the rear slide, and we'll show you how to set that up to close it, because the mattress does need to be somewhat disassembled. So the vanity, pretty simple. This is your resettable GFI, so if any of you want to trip, you just hit the reset button there, and you have your light for here, there. And your bathroom is to the right of that. This has your toilet and your shower. Light switch right there and here. So this is the switch for your fan. So if you turn it off there, you control it from here. You can even crank it up, which you want to do when you are running it. And I recommend running it if you're taking a hot shower, so the moisture doesn't stick to the walls. Shower, pretty simple. Then you have this to close, and it just latches in there. Like, you have to give it some force, and then it closes shut. So if you, there we go. Then you push forward, and it releases, and you can open it up. Nice sun light. That's more for taller people, so they can stand up in the shower. Coming through here. Not a whole heck of a lot in the bedroom. You do have your other TV, as well as your control for this back slide. This is a rear light, not a slide. There'll be a light on the back. This is your controls for this slide. When you operate your slide, you'll have to move this cushion. The mattress is split. You have to drag it and move it on top of this part, and then put your pillows aside so they don't get crushed. TV, so that white and black remote labeled Furrion is for this TV. This is a 12-volt TV, so this will work off of 12 volt. You have your light for and back here, and then your controls for your HVAC system. So you can change temperature. So you set your furnace. It's on furnace mode. You can go all the way up to 90, I believe. Could be wrong. 85. You turn your furnace off by hitting that. You go auto, high, medium, low. Auto's gonna choose what it wants for you. So if you have it set to 85, it'll do furnace. If you had it set lower, it'll know to do AC. It says mode, heat. Some ACs are equipped with heat pumps to allow a little bit of electric heat. This one I do not believe is. So you go to cool to run your AC. And your AC is running. Your AC vents to every room. So does your furnace. Those are your furnace vents. And you can hit sleep, and then timer. Hit timer. Just hit timer, and then it's a 8 hours. In 8 hours, it'll know to shut off by itself. Then you can control your on or off here. Just make sure you don't hang anything above this. This is a sensor. That's what senses the temperature of the room. That's what allows it to work correctly on auto. You turn it off. Some USB ports down there. Are any over here? None over here. There are 2 USB ports down there, and then another GFCI outlet over there. And another GFCI outlet right here. Then you have plenty of storage in here. Underneath here, nice long drawer, a nice deep cabinet with some coat racks. And then storage, yep, underneath the bed there too. So you can get access to anything you need to. And then here, this unit has been winterized, so mine the antifreeze. This is your inline filter, so when you're ready, like I said, run water through it. So you see clear water come out of all your fixtures. Then you can unscrew this, and there's a wrench for it. You can unscrew that, stick the filter in there, and you'll be good. Alright, now that concludes your walkthrough on your Sunseeker.